रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के क्षेत्र में रेक्टिफाइड स्पिरिट एंड कोजेनरेशन प्लांट खंडोबा प्रसन्न सखर कारखाना लिमिटेड में मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर के तौर पर कार्य कर चुके श्री स्वप्निल भिंगर देवाई जी ने अपनी कर्मठता और लगन से सफलता को अर्जित किया है। वैभव लॉजिस्टिक्स में प्रोप्राइटर के रूप में अपनी सेवाएं प्रदान कर चुके श्री स्वप्निल भिंगर देवाई जी बिजनेस चेंबर हेड ऑफ वेस्टर्न इंडिया DICCI के पद पर सुशोभित हैं। श्री स्वप्निल भिंगर देवाई जी को समाधान ग्रुप और स्किल्ड एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप मिशन से जुड़ने के लिए धन्यवाद।
Today we are going to take the topic, I will brief the ethanol industry, scope of the ethanol industry, the machineries requirement, what is the raw material is requirement. Then I will go through the process, how the ethanol is produced, then requirement of investment, which are the licenses required for the ethanol manufacturing, then requirement of the land, prospective buyers, other sales and marketing, and government schemes. On this topic, I will brief you in details. इथेनॉल तो इंडस्ट्रियल पर्पज एंड पेट्रोल ब्लेंडिंग का जो प्रोसेस चालू है, दैट इज ऑल्सो सिंस 1930 in Brazil they have utilized. Even in the Second World War, this was also utilized because that time the petrol crisis or diesel crisis was there, and ethanol was used for this purpose. So there is a टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलपमेंट या कुछ अलग है ऐसी कोई जरूरत नहीं है. इट इज वेरी 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 ओल्ड टेक्नोलॉजी, बट इट हैज गॉट नाउ द न्यू फेस लाइक इथेनॉल. एंड टू कम आउट ऑफ दिस इथेनॉल क्राइसिस और यू कैन से पेट्रोल हाइक, आत्मनिर्भर भारत में जो बनना चाहिए, वी हैव द सोर्सेस ऑफ दिस रॉ मटेरियल. सो एवरीबडी इज कॉन्सेंट्रेटिंग ऑन द रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी. Ethanol is one of the part of the renewable energy. Agribusiness future for the sugar industry and farmers. Sugar complex can be converted into the agribusiness complex by converting molasses based distillery to dual fueled distilleries. That means where there is sugar industry, they are using molasses for the process of rectified spirit manufacturing and followed by the ethanol. So such type of sugar distilleries can be converted in the dual fuel, and they can add maize or any types of grain for the process along with the molasses. When the molasses is not available, they can switch over to the maize grain based distillery. It will help the farmers to supply maize directly to the sugar factories also, and even government target of 20% ethanol blending can be achieved. I have just shown how the agri-business hub will be then. There will be storage, farmers, processing place, technical manpower, communication system, land availability, power and fuel, manpower management, waste treatment plant, finance and material management sources, off-season availability. So all these compatibility will create a agribusiness hub. Some facts we have to see. Sugar industries is a cyclic. So cyclic means the sugar we get from the normally in the month of November and December, and it starts crushing and it ends till the end of the May or June. So in this period only we get the raw material, that is molasses, for the rectified spirit manufacturing and ethanol. Please remember that whenever we start manufacturing of ethanol, we have to produce rectified spirit first, which has the purity of 96%, and then we have to dehydrate it and then make the purity of 99.96, and that product is called ethanol. So you can understand that ethanol is nothing but purest form of the alcohol. Alcohol is used in many types of utility, like potable alcohol is there, lot of brands are there. The other uses of the alcohol is industrial alcohol, like ethyl acetic, acetic acid, perfume industry, pharmaceuticals, then paint industry, and now the ethanol is blended in the petrol also. That has to be base of the ethanol is alcohol only. In the technical term it is called rectified spirit. So majority of this ethanol is or rectified spirit is produced from the sugarcane industry from their waste, which is molasses. So sugar industry is cyclic. So we have to depend for the period of the 8 months only to run this distillery. So that is why the grain ethanol is not cyclic. We can get grains to produce rectified spirit entirely year, and sugarcane and maize can be grown as intercrop also. This study has been done in Maharashtra and it is successfully running now. Ethanol from sugarcane we get around 4,900 liters per hectare, but if you see the sugarcane crops, it takes around 12 months to grow and get for the cultivation or for you can say the process. On the other hand, ethanol from maize we get around 3,600 liters per hectare, and the crop we get the maturity till for the within the 3 months. So there is a huge benefit when you go for the ethanol manufacturing from the maize or all types of cereals which contains your starch, because starch converted into the alcohol. Okay, this is the intercropping sugarcane with the maize. I have shown some photos where we have taken a trial successfully. Maize production in India is increasing at CAGR of the 5.5%. In 17-18 it was 219 lakhs metric ton. As I told you previously, duration of maize crop is 60 to 90 days. Production will be around 6 to 8 tons per hectare. We can grow with the sugarcane at spring season only, and this maize we can take crop 3 crops in a year. So we can grow maize continually entirely year. There will be no problem in the rainy season also. So that is why we are lot of industries are going dual feed distilleries with the molasses and maize. Currently, if you see the entire in India, out of 460 distilleries in India, only 25 are dual feed distilleries. Dual feed distilleries producing ethanol from molasses and grain can offer availability of ethanol across the year. So there will be no problem in the rainy season for the OMCs to procure the ethanol in the rainy season also. Current scenario for the ethanol blending policy from C molasses. Here I am showing some figures that sugarcane, how much we have sugarcane availability. So sugarcane is around 355 million metric tons, which will have 24.82 EEP, which will give sugar production of 32.8 million metric tons, and we will get the molasses in C grade, that is 15.6 million metric tons, which is 3.59 EEP. The current scenario for the ethanol blending policy from C molasses, alcohol used for the potable and other purposes is 1.96 EEP. Ethanol available for the ethanol blending policy through C molasses is 1.68 EEP. Ethanol required for the 10% blending for the OMC is around 3.29 EEP. Ethanol required for 20% blending will be 6.60 EEP. So you can currently see the scenario for the EEP. There are 350 molasses distilleries. Then dual feed will be distilleries of 25%, and dual grade based distilleries will be there. This is the maize. I am showing again the other figures, charts that maize used in India. So to my present scenario, poultry feed will require around 47%, beverage will be 7%, direct consumption will be 20%, starch industry will consume around 12%, cattle feed will consume 14%. Scenario after using 50% of the poultry and cattle feed will be CO2 and others will be 13.88%, ethanol will be 12.38%, direct consumed will be 20%, starch industry will utilize 12%, cattle feed 7%, poultry feed will be around 23.5%, and DDGS is a byproduct while we process the maize or other types of cereals which has starch content. We get the byproduct, that is DDGS, which is a cattle feed 11.25%. So future scenario will be approximately 250 distilleries are about to be modernized and newly coming. However, the molasses quantity will be remain the same since we have limitation for the sugarcane cropping. The option is nothing but dual feed distilleries, or you can go directly to the grain based distilleries. Ethanol made from the molasses, the availability will be 1.92 billion liters. Ethanol made from the maize will be 3.2 billion liters. Ethanol made from the broken rice will be 1.32 billion liters. Ethanol made from the raw material, that is 0.13 billion liters. And on the other hand, we require the ethanol for 20% blending will be 6.6 billion liters. This is the same figure. I am just for your convenience, I am showing this other chart. So how we will get the balanced ethanol of 20% for the ethanol blending policy, which is required 6.60 billion ethanol required for the 20%. From molasses we will get 1.92. From broken rice we will get 1.32. From maize we will be getting 3.20, and others we will be getting 0.13. So we have seen the benefits of the national policy on biofuels. Now we will classify the biofuels, which is already done by the Government of India. The first generation biofuels are called as conventional biofuels. They are made from the things like sugar, starch or vegetable oils. These are the foods, all productions, and any biofuel made from the feedstock that can also be consumed by the human in the food is considered as the first generation. So you can understand that any byproduct or any biofuel which is also used for the human consumption in the food sector is considered as a first generation biofuel. So that's very simple. What is the second generation biofuel? These are the biofuels are produced from the sustainable feedstock, that the sustainability of the feedstock is defined by its availability, its impact on the greenhouses gas emission, its impact on large use, and by its potential to threaten to the food supply. So second generation biofuel is also a food crops through certain food products such can become second generation fuels when they are not longer used for the consumption. The second generation biofuel are often called advanced biofuel. So I will give the example in the area of Punjab, Haryana. Lot of paralis are there. We have heard regarding paralis, their farmers are burning, and lot of pollution is generated or created in those areas which carries to the Delhi side, and it is a very risky. And so these paralis are not now using for the burning. They can use for the generation of rectified spirit and followed by the ethanol. So such type of paralis, or in Maharashtra bagasse or cotton straws, This we can use, which is waste, when we get the fruit or the stem which is there, which can process and we can manufacture rectified spirit and convert into the ethanol, is called a second generation biofuel. So it is also called advanced biofuel. Okay. Now the third generation biofuel is biofuel derived from the algae. So these biofuels are given their own separate class because of the algae and their unique production mechanism and their potential to mitigate most of the drawbacks of first and second generation biofuels. We will see the silent features of the biofuel. Scope of the raw material. The policy expands to the scope of raw material for ethanol production by allowing use of sugarcane juice, sugar containing materials like sugar beet, sweet sorghum, starch containing material like corn, cassava, damaged food grain like wheat, broken rice, root potatoes, unfit for the human consumption for ethanol production can be used. The potential to the farmers are at the risk not getting appropriate price for their produce materials during the surplus production phase. Taking this into account, the policy allows us for surplus food grain for production of ethanol for blending with the petrol with the approval of National Biofuel Coordination Committee. This boost to the biodiesel production also. The policy ensures silent setting up the supply chain mechanism for biodiesel production from non-edible oils, used cooking oil, sort of all the types other non-edible crops. There are some categorization has been done. The policy categorizes biofuel as basic biofuels, that is first generation, which I have told you, bioethanol, then biodiesel and advanced biofuels. Second generation will cover ethanol, then municipal solid waste to the drop-in fuels. Third generation biofuels will be bio-CNG, etc. to enable the extension of appropriate financial and fiscal incentive under the such categories.